Right guys, nice easy project for you today. Somewhat really versatile, and it gets rid of some bits and pieces that I need. These are all like bits of 4x2 I've had lying about. I don't know what I'm going to use from it. I've got some 6x1 there. I just thought I'd get it out on my table, see what I could sort of scrape together. Now, this project I'm doing, I've seen versions of this in the past. You've seen them. I don't think there's a project out there that's not been done. But it's just about putting your own spin on it, putting your own sort of design stamp on things. And for beginners and that, it gets the brain working. So this is what I'm going to do here. It's like it's versatile. I sort of rate it as more of a concept because of what I'm about to do with it. But does it work? You'll see in the end. I really think it does work, and it's already been claimed already. Shelley's had it off me. And I'll get back to that more in a little while. So as I'm going on here, I've got the idea in my head, and the sort of idea changes as I go on. Now, yous have probably had this. Everybody's probably had this. You're doing his design. You write. You do that photo, that drawing of what you're doing, and things change. So I'm just marking out here on this bit of plywood I had left over. I think this is the 13mm, 12mm, 13mm plywood that I had over. I had a couple of strips of it left over. I've still got half a sheet in the back of my van. So I'm just cutting out here. From my last project, you can see how that's sort of working there for me. Just cutting, just giving a bit more extra support and everything. And this makes things a lot safer. Like I said, I'm trying to do away a bit with my miter saw. I think my miter saw might have just gone through this, but it's just that carrying it in and out, it's just getting a bit too much for me at the minute. So I'm just chopping this into 4 equal sizes. I can't remember the sizes, but with this project, you can make this to suit your space, to suit your need, and it's got multiple uses. Again, I'm going back to this multiple uses thing, where if you make something, give it extra zing by making it super versatile. And then if you're like wanting to sell your items, you can do it. Just gives it that bit of an edge over everybody else. If you can sort of put into your titles and descriptions, you can use it for this. Show people a picture in the red. Tell them a story when you go to sell. I mean, I've been selling antiques all my life, and part of that was when I do like say if it's a chest of drawers, I'll paint them a picture, and believe me, it really does work. Painting that picture, and what you've got the added bonus of something that'll work in loads of different sort of applications around the home, office, that kind of stuff. So I'm just chopping everything out. Now there's the outfeed table, where that table I made on the last project. You can see it coming into its use here. I can move my table saw around whichever way I want. So this little workspace I'm operating out of is starting to bear fruit, because I'm actually thinking about what I'm doing. So before I do anything else, I'm going to sand everything. I'm just using, I think I'm using a 180 grit here, 180 grit, yeah, just to get everything off, get it nice and smooth. And let me know in the comments if there's anything you want to see me making. I did put it on community posts. Just give me some ideas, put them in the comments, and then I'll just randomly sort of pick stuff as and when. I'm not saying I'd make everything, because obviously it's a time issue, but if there's something that sort of piques me interest, I will be doing. I've got some really good projects coming up, so if you're not already subscribed and you love woodworking, please subscribe to my channel. It massively helps. Drop anything in the comments if you see me do anything wrong or I can improve on. I've said this before, please drop it in the comments. I always look at the comments and I always respond, and I do take people's views on board, and I have implemented some of them in my woodworking. So I'm actually, although I'm doing these videos for you, I'm learning off you guys as well. So that's really good. So if I'm learning, other people are learning. and that's the beauty of my YouTube channel, and that's what I want it to do. Everybody learns. So if you're a beginner woodworker as well, these are the type of projects, you know, put your mind to them, you can do them. Don't be phased. Make your mistakes, learn from your mistakes. That's how, if everybody is completely honest, that's how everybody's learned, really. I'm just going in with the Bradley here. These are design elements I'm sort of trying to put onto this now. I'm just trying to be different. I'm trying to be. You'll in the end you'll see and you'll say, oh, I've seen the sort of same project before, but not how you've done it, Billy. Let me know in the comments also my new camera angles. I'm trying out this new camera and I'm still getting used to it. So it's early days with it, but I'm quite enjoying it. I'm getting, I think, my own personal view. I know everybody's different, but I think that some of the camera angles are good. Some could do with a bit of improving. So let me know what you think of the camera angles. It is important to me that I get that feedback. And the sticker board behind there, if anybody wants to send a sticker to me, message me over on Instagram and I'll send you the address to send them to and I'll put it up there. So I'm using is it a 20? No, it weren't a 20mm, sorry. I think this was round about a 15mm force and a bit I'm going through here. Oh, I do apologise. I should have this information on, and it's just like I just get what happens is, and you'll all sort of know this, when you're doing a woodworking project, it takes you away. Time stands still, and when you look at the clock again, it's 3-4 hours have passed. It's such a good thing to do is woodworking. I love it. So I'm just softening the edges off here with a chamfer. Just taking my time. You could also just sand them corners over it as well. If you haven't got a router like me, you could sand them over. But it's nice to have one of these little palm router type things. I've opted for the cordless one because of the shortness of space in my big feet. I don't want to be tripping over wires. I've got this wired, me sander, but I've got the wire way out the way there. So I'm going over everything again just to tidy everything up. And thank you to the subscriber that sent me the thing for one of them mats. Sanding mats are really good. There he is. Stanley is out now. Weather's getting better. And there's Shelley. She wants to say a massive thank you to you all that have had her in your thoughts with her mum's passing and stuff like that. She really appreciates every single one of you. She's asked me to sort of let you know that. She's a tough old cookie, Shelley. So we're using a spirit-based stain here. I was going to leave it raw, but no. When she tells me that it needs staining or anything like that, I know for a fact she's going to claim it because this is what she does. She must think I'm sort of a bit crazy, but I'm not. I know exactly what a game is. So a bit more marking out here. Now, the pine is roughly 2 centimetres thick, so I'm just marking in 1 centimetre here. And then I will sort of drill through to attach the pine to these plywood boards that Shelley's just ran over with a bit of stain. So just take your time here on marking out. I found when I'm rushing, I always make mistakes. So just take your time. But this project, honestly, I think would be a really good seller if you was going to go out and sell them. I don't sell my projects. What I tend to do is either keep them or I'm going to start doing some giveaways of some of the projects I make. It's a hobby for me, and if somebody can get some pleasure out of some of the stuff I've made, and I can only send them UK, unfortunately. So I do apologise to all the guys over in the US and Canada and Australia. It's just a postage issue. It just makes it too expensive. So I'm just marking out here. Maths is not my strong point, and counting and stuff like that. I'm all right counting money, but when it's sort of like maths like this, it's like I really do have to take my time. But I'll get there. I get there. I just took my time on this, Bradley. And I'm just going through here now with the pilot holes. Another thing I've learned, just to stop splitting and all that kind of stuff, doing the pilot holes. So if you're a beginner again, just pilot everything. That's how I've learned. There's a lot of chip out and stuff on this plywood. You can see that little bit there, but that's going to be on the underside of one of the boards anyway, so you're not going to see that. So I'm just assembling it now. I've glued that even though it's stained, but all it is just to hold it a little bit. And if it does give it that little bit of extra strength, so be it. I don't know whether that's right or wrong, but in my sort of brain there, as I was doing it, it seemed to be the right thing to do. And I just noticed it's just out of line a little bit there. So normally that's a good fit. Like, normally I would rush there and just put the other screw in and think, oh, and just sort of forget about it. But now, because I'm just taking my time a bit more, I'm going back and fixing my mistakes as I go on, which is something I was not doing. So just do that. If you see them, just fix them there and then, because little mistakes at this stage can throw your project right out at the end. And that's what I've learned, and I've learned the hard way. So the screws I'm using here are 35mm torque screws. And I'm just making sure everything's lining up, taking my time. There's some excess glue there which I do get off. I found this stage a little bit tricky. I don't know why. I just found it a little bit tricky. But I'll get to it and it gets done okay in the end. So again, I'm just overdoing it with the screws. Going in and then just wiping that excess off, getting it off where you can see it. I mean, it dries clear, but it's just good practice to get it all off, especially if you're selling it. So, like, I'll go back to the selling aspect. If I was to sell this would sort of like be my Mark 1, my sort of prototype, looking at what's right, what's wrong, and then I'd probably go through probably 3, 4, 5 builds maybe to get the actual thing right before I'd start selling them. I might actually do a video at some stage of finding a product and try to market it and sell it for you guys to see, and going through the process of the actual prototype, concept prototype, that kind of stuff. Maybe I'd do it over like a 5-video series or something like that. Let me know if that's something you'd want to see, if it'd interest you. And I might put, as an addition to what I'm already doing, I've got space, I've got time to sort of do that. So let me know if that would benefit you, for you guys that are selling. So I'm just going through here, the sides. This is for some side supports that's going on. So again, I'm just making pilot holes everywhere. Just going in. Luckily, my drill just fits in that gap there, so I can get into the screw and do it. But I have got one of them angular sort of bits, if that weren't the case. So again, I'm just going with a bit of glue here. Probably didn't need this at all to do this, but I just did it anyway. And the aim here, what I was trying to get was everything level and square. That was my main sort of aim here with this one, this part of the build. Time-wise for this build, I'm unsure how long it'd take you. It's not a time-consuming build. If you were selling these, you could batch them out, I suppose. Probably make them a bit more simpler. As the process goes on, the simpler sort of things get, don't they? And you speed up. So I don't want to sort of come on here and say, oh yeah, this will take you this long or that long, and I don't really know. So I'm not gonna be one of them guys that tells you that. It's down to your own sort of way you work that sort of dictates how long things take. So I'm measuring up here 14 centimetres. Again, my apologies, I don't know what that is in inches. But 14 centimetres, I'm sure you guys would know. But like I say, this is, again, it's a project you can make to your own sizes. So you'll see in the end why I'm saying that. And I'm going in, this is the insides I'm going in here. Now, I could have plugged these, I chose not to, because of what Shelley's going to use it for. It doesn't really matter. But if it was going to be an out-and-out piece of furniture, this, and I was selling it, these would get plugged. Or you could actually use screws there that are a bit decorative, you know, like flat-headed screws, brass screws or something like that sort of like really set it off a little bit. So I'm just hand sanding everything over. Again, just giving everything an hand sand here. Making sure everything's nice and smooth. And I'm adding casters. The two front casters are going to be lockable. The 50mm casters. Now, the screws for it, and I didn't have the right size screws, so I'm just cutting 2 battens here for the bottom. Just to give it a bit of extra sort of thickness for the screws to go into. And I think it'll add a bit more support for the bottom anyway. I think it will, you know, but I needed to do it, so I thought I'd include this footage on the video. So again, pilot hole and everything. Bit of glue. One mistake I did do here is where I put the screw holes sort of interfered with the holes for the casters. I needed to think a bit better there. That was a mistake. It's a mistake, but I got round it. It doesn't really matter. But again, if you got to sell these, or you want into, you know, on my next one, I know, so I've learned. Shelley's just going over that now with a bit of stain. Here he is again. He's out again. The weather's getting warmer. He needs an haircut. He's due an haircut. Look at him. He looks like a walking rug. And I just decided to use the screws that they provided in the box. You get the screws. I will put a link down below. I got these off Amazon. I will put a link down below for the casters. 2 are lockable, 2 are not. And I'm just going over it now with some lacquer, clear lacquer. Just make sure you're well ventilated here. As you can see, I've got a mask on and I've got a well ventilated area. But even so, if I took that mask off now, it absolutely stinks. And here's it's finished. So it's a stand, but it's so versatile. And all them sides, each one's different. So I've tried to put a little design spin on there. So this could be bedside cabinets, bedside sort of stands. You could have them sofa tables. Shelley's going to use this for part of a side of a computer. There's loads of uses. Let me know what you would use this for in the comments below. But it's lockable casters, you name it. It's got it all. I like it. Let me know what you think. You've seen them, but, you know, they're different. See you on the next one, guys. Thanks for watching.